I will never let you go. Give me time and we will grow. I'll follow you, Apollo. What is up, Eurovision fam?
Hi.
Hi. So I didn't know I would be singing that any more than you did, but we are here.
Yep, we're here for another week of the Eurovision Fam weekly stream.
Yes, a lot of material this week, you guys.
Oh my gosh, it's like the floodgates opened up. They knew that we were kind of like, what's happening?
We were in a lull for a couple weeks, but now we have been hit with a steamroll. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. So, I mean, like, let's go ahead and just kind of go over briefly what we're talking about this week. We got daylight savings time songs.
Yes.
3 songs.
Go ahead and check out that article by Elda. It is so cool, and it has a lot of the songs that typically people who don't watch the contest a lot might forget about, or it's been so long that it's just like, what happened to that song? I love all the songs that she posted, though. Go and read that article. It is amazing.
It's like one of those things where we'll go into that a little more detail. ESC 250 voting opened up. We've got updates for national finals.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I have my dogs in the room today. They're usually not.
We have guests, you guys.
So I think one of them is drinking right now, and the other one is probably gonna go fight the one that's drinking for some water in a second. To be honest. So sorry about that.
That's all right. If you gotta run, then I could take care of these guys.
Oh, no, so then you got updates for the German national final, Belgian national final, Festival de Canção, or Portugal's national final. And then lots of stuff from Junior Eurovision. We got the internal selections from Serbia, Kazakhstan, Portugal, Georgia, Ireland, and Italy. And then some like revamps and final versions of the songs from Malta, Albania, and Poland.
Yes.
So let's go ahead and start off with that article, like you mentioned, that Elda had written.
Yeah, sorry. I should have been mentioning that now, but it's a really excellent article, you guys. Go ahead and check out the site. We're going to be linking the article in the description. And by the time we have the posting of this stream up on the website, I'll also link it down in that article as well. So go ahead and have a look at Elda's article where we talk about the 3 songs for daylight savings time at Eurovision.
I mean, I know like in Europe, you guys switched over your time zone a couple weeks ago. We just switched over on Sunday morning.
Like this last week, yeah. It was on Sunday morning. I watched the clock change. I actually saw that for the first time. I was happy.
I was asleep. But yeah, like it's just some songs. Kind of like a couple of them. Like we got the classic "Secret Garden" Nocturne. Norway 1995.
We have one of the best Cypriot songs ever represented.
Yeah, Johnny Lily Green and the Islanders with
Life
looks better in the spring.
And one of the best Finnish songs ever.
I know. Blackbird. Let me tell you real quick about Blackbird.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I was ready for that to not qualify when it was first selected, and then it grew on me.
You?
And then it grew on me and I loved it. And now I'm like, it was robbed. But
Thank you.
By the time we got to like Kiev, I was like, oh, this song's gonna qualify, sail through. Before that, I was like, this sounds like a child's funeral. Why do people like this?
What the? A child's funeral?
It's a Eurovision song for a children's funeral.
I guess if you absolutely had to pick, if you were under duress in that situation, then I guess my choice would be Blackbird. But
it's the best Eurovision song for a children's funeral.
Anyways, check out that article, you guys.
Sorry, 1 second. Okay,
but yeah, Blackbird is one of the best entries Finland has ever sent, and so is that entry from Cyprus, as was mentioned.
I mean, the only thing I disagree with the title is like spring, you go forward an hour. I like the extra hours of sleep that you lose.
Me too. Yeah. I prefer this end of daylight savings definitely as well.
So much. Let's just get rid of daylight. I could write an essay about that and how much I hate daylight savings time.
How it's actually 3 hours instead of 1.
Yeah, like we can write a whole essay about that. So right, anyways, next that happened this week was ESC 250 voting opened. I have a link in the description box to go vote.
Get your votes in, you guys.
Unless you're voting for Euphoria.
I know if you're a US person, you probably are done with like, oh my gosh, no more voting stuff. I'm telling you to vote right now. Click the link and vote one more time.
I mean, yeah. Just go ahead and put your votes in. Don't stack it all for recency bias, please. I say
But
that.
also, don't listen to anyone else's opinions. Vote for what you think is right.
Unless it's my opinion.
Unless it's my opinion. I will be personally trying to convince people to vote for the songs that I like.
Yeah. I put in my votes and like it's chaotic.
I have my favorites. I also have some that are recent, but I definitely stick to my favorites.
Yeah, I've got a couple of songs from the 60s in there.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of songs, well, one song from the 70s, but I think 2 from the 90s, and then the rest are more recent.
I really push forward the naughties. I know, but I push forward the naughties.
All right, we're gonna just ignore that sentence because I cannot start with a disrespect with you. All right, so that's just a brief little thing. You guys have until December, I think, 2nd to do that. So
December 2nd. So get your votes in.
All right, then German national final changes. Okay, so Unser Lied for Liverpool is going to be the national final because that makes sense. And,
we are back to Unser Lied.
Yeah, I like Unser Lied or Unser Lied. Ignore the way I pronounce German; it's bad. But we're going to be seeing some changes happening with it. Basically, the company, the broadcaster is going to be going after record companies and artists more to try to be proactive and get them to join on, which is a great move, rather than just, the reliable pool of people who typically apply to compete in national finals, like as far as songwriters go. This will probably bring in something a little more fresh. There's also maybe some artists who are a little fresher as well. And they're also going to have a TikTok element as well. I know Jendrik was a TikToker, and that didn't go as well for Germany as they would have expected or hoped it would. But it makes sense to be using TikTok because TikTok sways people so much when it comes to music.
This is still a formula that works, you guys. Like the TikTok formula, just because Germany wasn't able to pull it off that first time doesn't necessarily mean that it doesn't work. Like this is something that I feel like this strategy is going to be beneficial to them. But I also am taking that with a little bit of a grain of salt because when the Big Five had that drastic improvement, they were left out of that.
Yeah, like honestly, last year, Sam Ryder, TikTok, with him. So it's good to have
Rosalind having the most streamed song of this Eurovision year.
And every year,
TikTok.
It seems like every year too, we're kind of getting one song that kind of stands out on TikTok.
Yes.
So, it's a good idea to go ahead and bring that in. Oh, we've got somebody here, Tarjik Hill, U9. Hi. Let me just highlight your comments that you're in here now.
Hi, welcome to the stream. Finally got to my first episode from start to finish. Almost at time. Hey, like sometimes we start late. Sometimes we don't have enough to talk about at the end. We like it's all good.
You're fine.
I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing your name, but welcome to the stream. We were just touching on what was it we were just talking about? TikTok success with Eurovision selected artists for Germany, especially.
Yeah. So. Kind of moving on from there to talk about where is what I'm looking for. All right, we're going to go on from there to talking about Festival da Canção. It's the Portuguese national final. It's my personal favorite national final since 2018. It's been so good.
It is one of the best ones by far.
And we talked about how Germany's going to be inviting, be proactive with inviting songwriters to their national final. Portugal already does that. They kind of have a list of artists who are established that they invite in to be songwriters, and then they either will have a different singer or they'll have a different or they'll perform the song themselves. But let's go ahead and just kind of go through the list. Do you want to say the names?
Yeah, so the list of names that we have, 15 artists were invited by the Portuguese broadcaster to be the songwriters for FDC, and they are Andre Enriquez, April Ivy, Bandua, Barbara Tinoco, Turkey, Claudia Pascual, The Punk Sportive, Ivandro, Jacinta, Neo Soho, King Albagaria, Saul, Teresina Landeiro, The Happy Mess, and You Can't Win, Charlie Brown. So those are the 15 names we have so far, you guys.
Well, we've got all 20 names too, but those the 15 that were invited by the broadcaster to come in. Yes. And we've got a couple of returnees, Claudia Pascual, She represented Portugal in 2018 and was utterly robbed.
Oh, that should have gotten top 10. Should have gotten top 10.
I'm so upset about that. But that was a song she didn't sing, like she didn't write that song. This is her as a songwriter. I personally still listen to her music, even though she, I still listen to her music post Eurovision stuff. She's great. I love her. I recommend her. She can be a little twee sometimes, but if you just want something kind of like upbeat and happy, or something that has like I love her voice and the way she's able to like make you feel things if you don't know Portuguese. I am sorry. Hold
on. No, but yeah, I get what Lily means with the fact that when you hear Claudia sing, she uses kind of like a specific technique, like a certain timbre that I'm glad that FDC was able to bring for us, because it is a really unique sound. I don't feel like it was adequately appreciated in Lisbon, like with the televote and everything. It's just me here, you guys, for now. But with how it was like handled with the results, I don't think that it should have gotten that result. But nonetheless, we're going to be seeing her back as a songwriter for Festival de Canção, which is something I'm really excited for. Another composer for FDC that I'm really excited for is Barbara Tinoco. If you guys remember Barbara Tinoco from 2020, she sang Passepartout, which was kind of like how do I describe that song? It was the one with like a million languages in it. It was like went really fast, went really slow. Barbara Tinoco, Passepartout.
That was like the really, really French one.
The really French one.
It just came off as very French. I'm sorry about that. Very French to me.
That was that was the most, but I mean, like every so often there's kind of like a Frenchy song in FDC, but that was probably the most Frenchy song I've heard in the contest. Barbara Tinoco was that. And I do also want to mention her music outside of the Portuguese broadcasting sphere. So good. She does a lot of acoustic pop, very strongly melodic, and she's someone that I'm especially looking forward to coming this contest.
Yeah. I know she was like really, I think Passepartout was probably one of my favorite ones that year. And I was really happy with what we ended up getting, because the thing with Festival de Canção is like you're asking me to choose my favorite child.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a great national final. So those kind of are like the people who stand out who've competed before, names that would be recognizable for Eurovision fans. And then we also have the 5 who submitted their own songs or submitted their own work to compete. And these are kind of, those artists. Do you want to go ahead and read through those real quick?
Yeah. So the 5 artists are Edmundo Inácio, Inês Apenas, Mimicat, Moya, and Voodoo Marmalade. Ooh, I've not heard of any of these singers, so I'm excited to find out what that was. But I mean, FDC, they usually pick very like seasoned artists. There are so many of those in Portugal, so.
It's not only that, it's just a matter of like, I think it helps maintain a freshness to the contest. That's why that's probably why Festival de Canção is consistently one I really enjoy, because you don't get the staleness of the same exact songwriters every single year, with names that you go, oh, look.
I can definitely name a few national selections in colder countries that where that is the experience through and through, week by week.
There's one in particular I'm thinking about, and it's like if they did like an artist reveal, it would be like, or a songwriter reveal, it'd be like 6 songwriters for like all of the songs.
For one song, and by the time you hear the song, it's mid.
Oh no, I'm not even talking about like a bunch of songwriters on one, because like, here's the thing with Festival de Canção, it's not really a pop contest, it's just a song contest. The national final that we're both thinking of is more of a pop contest.
It's more of a TV program than it is a song contest.
And with pop music, there's production houses. Let's go back and let's talk about the 90s. Like, we can go back to the 90s and talk about like pop music production, and when everyone kind of switched over to using the Swedes for their music production, even in the States. And how there was a specific sound that came with that.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, they took that momentum and took it with them all through these 30 years. So I mean, like, what we're not talking about that Ariana, I'm excited for FTC too because you know what? That is the song contest. Honestly, like another thing, if one person needed to be introduced to national finals, that is a great way to start.
Oh yeah, if like there's somebody who they kind of just want a little mix of everything, and they just want like a chill national final, can turn on and just kind of watch and just have good music. Festival de Canção
Like
is it.
while you're cooking, doing the laundry, it's perfect to just have on in the background. Like, oh, I really like this song. I'm just gonna sit and listen, just for that.
Yeah, that's what I like about Festival de Canção. I think I cooked a Festival Canção every year.
Yeah,
it's just perfect. It's really great for cooking too. Like I'll just put on that playlist when it drops, and just it's a great playlist to have for that. So that's kind of what was happening with Portugal. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about Belgium. They're bringing back their. I know. They're bringing back their national final for the first time in a long time.
Yeah. So we have the first national final in Belgium since 2016, you guys. Fun fact. That national final in 2016 when Laura Tesoro was selected was the first national final I ever watched. I remember all of those songs. I remember almost that whole show, and it was a mess. Like it was altogether just what the heck is going on. But maybe 6 years has changed their prospects. Maybe.
Well, I'm looking at like the format, which is each of the 7 acts are going to be bringing like 2 songs apiece. It's giving me very Eurovision 1956.
Yeah, it is. Which I mean, like, okay, that's very traditional in like the most traditional sense. Like we are going to have like multiple competitors for what am I saying? Multiple competing songs for each competitor. But yeah, I mean, like it's different. We don't really get that very much.
Was it the German national final in 2017 where the last 2 songs were Lavinia singing against herself?
Oh my God.
Did I hallucinate that?
No, I feel like that was right. I didn't watch it live. I remember I did not watch that live, but I mean, that does sound familiar. It was perfect live versus another song that was equally as bad.
Yeah. Germany, I love you, but sometimes you're really
Belgium bringing the chaos. Well, yeah, like I mean, I appreciate some chaos, but do you want to go through like the names of the people who have been confirmed so far?
Yeah, and I do appreciate the fact that we got on the article a little blurb about each artist. That's so useful. But yeah, so we've got competing Amira, Gala Dragdo, Hunter Falls, the Starlings, Shireen, Gustav, and then Laura Donna. Those are the competing artists, and like I said, each of them are going to be bringing 2 songs apiece. For Eurovision fans, this will kind of talk about the kind of ones that you might know as a Eurovision fan or a follower of national finals. Amira, and her real name is Astrid Roland. She got her start in the first season of Idol in 2003, and she competed to try to represent Belgium at Eurovision in 2004. So she's kind of like a national final
veteran.
A veteran, an absolute veteran. And then we have the Starlings, which is Tom Dice, who competed in 2010 for Belgium and broke their. How many years did they go without not qualifying?
I almost want to say he was the first qualifier. I almost want to say that.
I mean, I think that might be right. Like ever since they came up with like when they came up with the Sabines.
Yeah,
probably
like,
the first.
I am failing to remember a time before that where Belgium had qualified to the. I might need to be fact checked on that, but yeah, he's the first one that I'm for sure like, oh yeah, Belgium is like they are something like in Eurovision now. And that's when he's saying me and my guitar. Like if y'all remember that song.
And that's the best result the Flemish have ever had at Eurovision.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Yeah, he got fourth. Oh my goodness.
That's the best result for the Flemish.
What did you think of that song?
Because that's like, I don't like it. But like the thing is like
so like it's like string light sweet, you know, like mason jar sweet.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna play this at my wedding that I DIY'd off of Pinterest boards.
My Utah cousin's wedding.
Oh my gosh, it is giving Mormon wedding.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my gosh,
it's like, oh, there's a cross made of cotton. Okay, I'm stopping right there. I'm stopping right there.
But it's his project with his wife, Kato Kalabu. I think that's
Wife, huh?
Kalabu.
Okay.
Yeah, they're married. And
Nice,
she competed in
nice.
Idol as well in 2011.
Oh wow!
So,
What do
yeah,
you know?
I
They
mean,
were
that's
back to
nice.
back,
It's
like
like
on TV.
it's cool to have like a little married couple. Yeah.
So that is like what's going on with Belgium so far, you guys?
My odds are 70-30 that it will be another English song. Just my expectations, not hating though. Honestly, I'm gonna guess most of these songs are gonna be in English for Belgium.
Yeah, maybe one
this is the
in
Flemish.
French.
No, this is the Flemish broadcaster.
Turn. You're right.
So it'd be Dutch.
Okay, so
and
no,
Dutch
yeah, it's gonna
for
be
some reason, or
English.
it's in Flemish, but Flemish is very close to Dutch. So people of Dutch speaking and Flemish speaking, I guess they just don't want to sing in their native language too much. But it should be an interesting one because there's like definitely some artsier people in here too. And like, yeah.
6 years is a lot of time to change a national selection. So
yeah,
Belgium,
we'll see
I'm
what
looking
happens.
out for you.
Maybe they took notes. They looked at like France and looked at like everyone else who's kind of moved forward since then and gotten their act together and like, oh, you know what? We can do that too.
We got faith.
Yeah. So the next up is we're gonna head into the junior stuff because there was lots and lots of junior stuff.
Oh, there was so much. That is most of this, you guys.
Yeah. It's a lot of junior. Serbia released their song. Katarina Savic is going to be singing Svet bez Garnica. Would you like to go ahead and kind of say your thoughts?
Yes. So, you guys, this is such a nice listen. Like from the beginning to the end, it's just absolutely pleasant to listen to. And my note here is that I'm all for like a nice, soft, wistful ballad. But there's also something about the melody that kind of strikes me as like this is like a fairy tale. Like I am in some kind of magical land when I'm listening to this song. It's reminiscent of Balkan ballads, as in like some of the like songs that Serbia may have sent to adult Eurovision, like in the past, with just the way that it was composed and the instrumentation. But we also did see her bring a trombone to the music video. I need a trombone on stage. We have never had a main singer play the trombone on stage in my memory for Junior Eurovision. So, I mean, I feel like Serbia should be able to bring that. It suits the song really well. What do you think?
I always wonder how children play trombone. That
sounds like a long instrument.
Exactly. It's like you have to like, and like the note depends on like how long your arm is. I don't play trombone. I play clarinet. And at one point I was a bad clarinet player. So I always had 1 second.
Well, I mean, like clarinet is going to be easier on your arms than a trombone.
Because I just, they used to hit us in the back of the head with their trombone slides because they thought it was funny.
What?
It doesn't really hurt. It's just like, it's just annoying because if you're in the middle of playing and then you get hit back of the head. I digress. I like this song. It sounds Christmassy to me. It's like Junior's kind of moved over to being in December now. So it's kind of got that Christmassy vibe. I kind of like songs that kind of sound like the time of year you're listening to them. Like that's why I like at like adult Eurovision. I don't really like ballads so much because it's like it's summer now. Like we don't want to be inside. We want to be, out getting ready to party. So
that is our divide. That is our divide.
But like I kind of like I saw some people compare this to Nocturne. 1 second, I'm sorry.
I could kind of see how it's like Nocturne though. I mean, like it has like the like of the what's the word I'm looking for? Like the measures have kind of like the same swing back and forth of Nocturne, so I do get that.
And also with this one, I think that the vocal, the way she's singing, is kind of old-fashioned. So it kind of gives the whole thing a timeless quality. And like kind of there's a style of singing that went out of like that kind of went out in the like the 50s. Like if you watch Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs by Disney, for example, you can still hear that kind of old-fashioned style. I'm not talking about the vibrato, which is the vibration in the voice. I'm talking about the way that you sing, like the timing of when you start your song, like when you start the lyrics on the line is different. We kind of like lean in to lyrical, like you're singing before the melody of the instrumentation more now, whereas before you sang on it and she's singing on it. So it's kind of like an old-fashioned style of singing that I think really suits the song and lends itself well to like that timeless quality.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's really well done.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, I saw a trombone for some reason in my head, I was like, oh, she's gonna sing a ska song. No.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Honestly, though, she might have the voice.
I don't know. I just was like, oh, it's gonna be ska. And I was like, no, it's not. I don't know why I saw a
Balkan
trombone.
Ballad
That's my
way
first
through,
thought.
though.
I don't know. And then we also got the song. Oh, did you have any other thoughts about Serbia's entry?
No, it was just really well done.
Yeah. So we also got the song from Kazakhstan, and Daniel Sherlin's song is Your Anna, which means Mother Earth.
Yes.
And yeah, we got that this week. What do you think about it?
So, oh my gosh, you guys, Kazakhstan, anytime anything happens with that country in junior, I just like feel this pit in my stomach. Like ever since experiencing Daniela Tulyashova in 2018 get 6th place when she should have won, I have just been behind Kazakhstan, fighting for them, gunning for them this entire time. I need them to do well. I need them to keep doing well. And they have a really good streak. But like just thinking specifically about this song, the first few measures, very, very Kazakh. Like you could tell that this is a Kazakh entry just by the instrumentation that they decide to use and the meter of the first verse. Like it feels like a Kazakh entry. And the instrumentation, yeah, doesn't have those European sounds. It's a very distinct Kazakh element to it. And just like any other Kazakh entry, they've selected a well beyond competitive vocalist. The melody is intense, very strong. Production is very professional. I think this is going to be a very bold, wide claim, but this is like I do think he's going to be scoring very, very high in the jury if he's able to pull this off. And it has me questioning, like, is Kazakhstan, the country, ready to host Junior Eurovision? Because it does seem like with the entries that they've been putting out, they really, really want to do this. And I think this is one of the best Kazakh songs that I've heard in a really long time. And I'm not just saying that because I have a bias toward them. I'm like, this is just really, really good. And it might just be feeding directly toward me, but they have something stellar in their inventory. What do you think?
Yeah, this is fantastic. This song is so good. The vocal coming from David is fantastic. That's the thing with Kazakhstan is they know how to choose a vocalist. Like all of these kids they pick can sing.
Yeah.
And they put so much effort behind like the production and everything. It's like they want to show off. Like I feel like every year for junior, it's them auditioning to try to get into adult Eurovision kind of. And like it's an impressive audition portfolio. If we're up to me, they'd be in based off the quality of music they give us consistently. Like I do like the fact that we get those traditional elements in the instrumentation. It helps you know where you're at, and I do love it when we're talking about music and we're listening to a song and we know where in the world we are.
Yeah, they bring that. They bring that definitely.
And I think it's like an environmental song. It's like an environmental power ballad. I'm not really into ballads all the time, but he sells it to me. So
you got environmental like that. That's different than the message I received. The message I received was alluding to the current conflict happening with Central Asia. That's what it invited for me.
I got environmental and I also got conflict, like kind of anti-war.
I am seeing environmental now that you mention it.
Because like there's like plastic cups that are forming stuff. And like I saw the
you guys, this is too meta. Like this is too like symbolic, artistically just constructed for me to understand clearly.
I saw the imagery like of the soldiers and stuff of like that. Those were also made out of plastic to me. Kind of like toy army men. And like so I kind of got an environmental situation going on too. Like
so much thought, you guys. I mean, like we're just talking about this now, and it's like there's so much deconstruction that you can get from all these like small clues too. They feed you so well.
Yeah. TJ Arkill U9 says, oh my gosh, I can't read. Sorry.
Most voices will change. Kazakhstan is literally try harding like every year. Same with Ukraine on adult JESC. There's a great package approach, song, vocal, oil money. Ooh!
Yes, use that oil money, baby.
Woo, we are hitting it right where it hurts. But you know what? They are investing. They are investing. You're making
They
it
are.
difficult to resist listening to the JESC songs. Ariana, you listen to me right now. Go into the playlist and listen to these songs because the kids are amazing. Like a lot of these songs are too good for the adult contest sometimes. I mean, like,
Yeah.
like a
No.
lot of them are just like, wait, are you serious?
Yeah. But yeah, like that's kind of what's happening with Kazakhstan. And talking
Yes.
about like a country, the song. Let's talk about Portugal and the fact that I could see Portugal sending something like this to adult Eurovision, and that's what I
This is an
like about this
FTC
so
song.
much.
It's an FTC
Um,
song.
so Nicolas Alves, song is on those. I forgot to look up how to say 70 in Portuguese.
70, I think.
Okay, we'll go with that. Anos 70. It was released on Monday.
Mhm.
Is that what 70 years?
Yeah,
Okay.
70s. It's the
Oh, the
decade, the
70s.
70s. Yeah.
It sounds like the 90s to me personally.
Yeah, a
Um,
little bit.
the song is giving me like grunge,
Hmm.
but like
Very
it's like
grungy, very much.
elevated grunge, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Like I think it's very like the vocal kind of goes between that like early 90s grungy sound, but then he also has like these really high clear notes that are
Hmm.
just plain lovely, and it's like the stuff he's doing with his voice is fantastic, like
Hmm.
switching between those two styles.
He's the only one who does a switch of vocal style, I think, in the entire lineup of kids so far. Like, because yeah, you're right. He has like that really grungy, like raspy, like voice that he uses like in the chorus. And then he also has like the kind of like higher, clearer voice that he uses like in different dispersions. And it's just I like the contrast that we have there because Portugal always brings character. Like if
Yeah.
one thing for certain, they bring character, they bring uniqueness, and that melody, it just feels Portuguese. Like something about the way the song was constructed, you're like, this is definitely Portugal unmistakably.
Like I feel like Portugal likes to play with genre junior more than other countries do.
Hmm.
Because like we've gotten like electronic dance from them before. We got like a teeny bopper kind of mid oddies pop, but like a little punky, like a little Avril Lavigne-esque from them
Hmm.
before. We got
Yeah.
straight up Fado from them before.
Uh-huh.
Like they kind of go into junior and like, kind of play with it. I think they also choose things that like the kids would want to sing themselves without
Hmm.
having someone behind them kind of going, hey, you should sing this song or you
Oh,
should
the
sing this
the kids
style.
took artistic direction like almost every time when it comes to Portugal. Like
Yeah.
you could tell that the song really suits their character.
Yeah, like there's something like it's just really interesting there.
Mhm.
And I really do enjoy what Portugal is bringing because I was like, oh, this is great.
Yeah,
Also
it's
the
so good.
styling in the video was very 90s
Oh yeah,
grunge
like
styling.
the camera.
Yeah, I don't know, man. If the song means like the 70s, then I got the 90s.
Like I don't know if you've seen, but the music video now has English translation to the lyrics. They're
Oh heck
surprisingly
yeah.
very dark. Like I was really surprised by how mature the lyrics are. I was reading back on them and I'm just like, dang, like this has like some sadness to it, but I appreciate that because I mean, art a lot of the time needs to convey complex ideas, complex emotions, and this is doing that. It absolutely is.
I mean, what was it? Like the if you look up the definition of saudade on the internet, it's like the
Yeah.
Portuguese like disposition.
That's
So
a tattoo word. That is a word that like deserves a tattoo. It's that
yeah.
artistic.
And talking about artistic, let's talk about
Oof.
Georgia
Oh baby.
because
Oh
Miriam
baby.
Miriam Bigbara Baba will perform, I believe, for Georgia, and
Hmm.
I believe it's a good one.
Why? Like I feel like we ask this question all the time. Why is it that the Georgian delegation for Junior Eurovision and the adult delegation, they don't even text each other. They don't even have each other's phone numbers.
There was a fallout of some kind. I'm
There's a
telling you,
fall.
like
But you guys, this is just I don't understand why this is so good. It is so advanced in so many ways. It's very grown. This is definitely on the older end of the junior entries that we have so far. It has an artistic grip that exceeds once again what the competitors in Grown Vision, in my opinion, are capable of, especially as of the last couple years. There's something in the Georgian water that allows so many of the kids to be like refined and it's very, very professional the way that the song was produced. The melody is incredibly strong. The last 10 seconds, no, the last 15 seconds that is kind of like the winning Musu mode. That is ready. That is
Yeah.
ready to also do very, very well. And yeah, it's
It's art.
timeless. Like it's art. And the music video art. Like I'm not fully like conceptualized what all of that symbolism is. It's just, but that's what it's meant to do. That's what high art is supposed to do.
Yeah.
What do you have to say? Because I'm just I'm
Georgia
spiraling.
Georgia at Junior is always pushing the envelope when it comes to how to do pop music.
Yeah,
They
every
are
time.
like, I know Lady Gaga has an album, Art Pop.
Mhm.
Georgia knows what Art Pop is.
Maria Big Vava.
Like, I'm sorry, goodbye. Move aside, Lady Gaga. It's Georgia's time. Like, consistently, though. That's why I'm saying Georgia, not specific Miriam, because they know how to make good artistic pop music that is there for all of your senses. You're not just there to listen to it. You're there to feel it. You're there to visualize it. You're there to kind of get the full package, and we're getting that full package here. Musically, it's very stimulating. It's like I said, it's accessible, but it also has like kind of a futuristic sci-fi feel to it.
Yes.
Like this is what the future of this genre can be. And I feel like that's kind of what they've been going for consistently in sounds since I started following Junior. Like 2017, I think is the first time I watched. I really like 2016 was my first junior, but the one I first got in depth with it, that was 2017. I think Georgia's been pushing it like that.
Well, I mean, yeah, like just thinking about the Georgian entries up to this point, because in 17, comment.
You can talk. You don't have to read.
Yeah, no, I got distracted. But from 17 up until now, Georgia has always like introduced a new idea to pop. It's just like what you were saying. You're like, okay, this is like an old style. We're going to refit it, make it sound more modern. And then by the time it's in the contest, it just feels way newer than like, I don't really even know how to express it. They just know how to bring the freshest sound to the contest every year.
Yeah. TJ RKL U9, Georgia is messing a bit in the adult but they are so much more curious for me at Junior. Agreed. Like I like what Georgia does at adult Eurovision too, but it's like it seems more random. It doesn't seem as thoughtful. I say that it's like I say that and it's like I tend to really like what Georgia does at adult Eurovision as well. I'm not saying I don't. But it's very in Junior it feels deliberate. At adult it feels like let's just try this time. You know what I mean? There's not a consistent through line at adult. It's like which I'm also good with at the same time because if Georgia brought us a same kind of a song every single year, we wouldn't love them like we do. They wouldn't be Georgia at adult Eurovision. It's just like if it just makes me think like if how do I phrase this? Because Spain was like that too at adult Eurovision, kind of just stagnant, kind of bring us something and you try, but it misses a lot of the time. Whereas at Junior they were consistent, and there was a change that happened within Spain and the Spanish delegation, and I think that maybe that might happen with Georgia at one point. I don't know. But
yeah, like altogether this is just a full package, you guys. This is probably one of the best songs I've heard in a Eurovision contest. Like, and I say that like very sparingly too, because I mean a lot of the time we don't get songs that have this much thought put into them, but of course it's going to be Junior Georgia who has that kind of mental investment into it, and I'm so glad we have this song.
So let's talk about Ireland.
We're just going like hit after hit after hit with this. Seriously,
I'm sorry, the internal selection, like the internals this year, so good. I mean, like, well, it wasn't an internal selection, but the song, you know what I mean, with the songs, like with Georgia and Ireland, those were both national finals to choose the singer, but the song wise, that was internal. Sophie Lennon is going to sing Solace. So let's talk about Sophie Lennon's song.
Yes. So this is my jam. Once again, I need this played in the club. So the melody is elegant and memorable. Voice is pristine and clear. You could tell that this is like a thespian kind of voice. She is very, very classically trained, which I appreciate so much because it creates such a nice sound. and she can act. Like that music video, like give the girl an Oscar. But there are a few things I love more in life than a convincingly Gaelic ballad from a Celtic country, which this absolutely is. If you guys listen to like any of the tracks from Riverdance, that is exactly my kind of jam. This reminds me of that in a way. Like it harkens back to that like almost 90s Irish Tiger kind of reinventing the Celtic sound of Irish music again. That is my kind of thing, and it's such a soft song. It's such a powerful song. Formulaically, this is perfect. This is like the Shortcake ESC, like I sign off on this song. Absolutely.
Yeah, I my first thought was, oh, this is beautiful. Like I was like, oh, this is beautiful. I think that Junior Ireland does that so well. They make something that's really atmospheric that kind of draws you in with these ballads, like from these young girls, because I don't know what else to say besides that's what's happening here. All of your notes repeated completely. I don't know what else I have to add to that besides I think that this is beautiful. I think that Sophie's voice is so crisp and clear. And it's like just the quality of her singing is so beautiful. And like the timbre which she sings with, it's like girl's been singing for a while.
Yeah, you could
like,
tell.
Just you can tell, and it's like, how is this a child? But yeah, like I think it's just gorgeous, and there's an artistic direction there, and like
I love the dresses she was wearing in the music video too. Like, ooh, that looks expensive. It looks so like Irish. I know that's probably one of the clumsiest ways to describe it, but overall, like it does feel ultimately quite patriotic the way that the outfitting was delivered.
And like I said with Kazakhstan, I like to hear a song and know where in the world I'm at. I'm getting that with it.
Yes.
That's
absolutely.
the thing, like with Ireland, is consistent, because even last year they didn't give us something more traditional. They gave us something a little more pop punky sounding, but it still sounded Irish.
Yeah,
it always sounds like you're in Ireland. I mean, I know they're singing in Irish too, but like you always are in Ireland with them sonically. And so like I like the fact that when they go into Junior, you know where in the world they're from.
Yeah.
Just immediately right off the bat.
And I just love the fact that it's just like, here's like the mid-90s Irish Tiger again with just how this song is. It just feels so irreplaceably Irish. Irish.
Yeah. So from Ireland, we're gonna go to another I country. And the I country is, you know what?
Italia.
It's Italy. It's like the two countries that every like most Americans say, oh yeah, my family's from these places. So like those are kind of like,
especially the ones that have Catholic guilt.
So I have a really good friend. My former work husband's from Baltimore, and he's Irish and he's Irish and Polish, and he was like, come on, Baltimore is a Catholic city with factory jobs. It was like the siren songs, my people. And I just like, all the time. I'm like, yeah, you're right.
I mean, I've never been to Baltimore, but like as a Catholic, I felt that.
Baltimore's
like as a former Catholic.
Baltimore's an interesting city. It has its own unique culture.
That accent is just basically Mandarin to me. Like you sent me a TikTok of just like straight that accent, and I was like, this isn't English. This isn't even remotely English. It doesn't make sense how this was on our continent.
And meanwhile, I understand every word of it. Sorry.
Baltimore, you guys.
If you've ever heard a Baltimore accent, go look up Aaron earns an iron.
Earn.
You'll understand.
I can't bring it justice. You guys need to look that up.
Just look it up.
Italia.
Sorry, Italy. So Italy's song is Blah Blah Blah, and it's by Chanel Delecta. And what do you think about? I'm going to start off. I'm going to talk about this one first.
You go ahead.
I like it. It's giving me a little bit of that Italian disco, but like updated. It's very future nostalgia. It's very much that specific album from Dua Lipa.
Yeah.
Oh God, this is good. This is up my alley. This is so up my alley.
So like when this song first occurred to me, I was like, wait, like this is kind of like the melody kind of reminds me of like a La Representante de Lista song. Like I'm almost getting a San Remo kind of quality about this. When I saw the music video, I was like, "Ooh, your look! It kind of reminds me of Rafaela Cara." Like, but that's
Yeah,
patriotism right there. That is patriotism. I
yeah,
love
no.
it. It suits Junior Eurovision. It's catchy, expressive. You
Oh,
described it as neo disco pop, Italian neo disco pop. There's just it's irreplaceable.
and there's a place
And
for her to show off a
yeah,
great vocal on the bridge. It's perfect. Like that
it's
when
so
that those
unexpected too.
when
Like
those
because the whole song is like yay, and then suddenly she takes the highest note of anybody in the lineup, and you're just
I'm like, girly, did you just go for the whistle notes, honey?
she
Yes.
did. I think this is the first attempt at a whistle note in a really long time that we've had in Junior.
I know. I was just like, okay, yes, we're going there. Yeah, this is like it's got your stuff that's gonna make kids want to go for it, which is
It's
the
got the
dancing upbeat
dance.
qualities. Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's a kind of like a cheesy little dance. Like the styling in the video was making me think of like cheesy B movies from like the seven oh my gosh, the 50s.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's fun. It's kind of
It's so
like,
much fun.
yeah. I can gush about this for days. It's so good. And like you
But it
also
is
have
risky. Very risky.
yeah, and you also have things that will make the jury go for it,
Mhm.
which is that higher note, that kind of
Yes.
like the point where she just gives a chance for her voice to shine. This
Mhm.
is so catchy. This is so fun. I feel like this song would fit in really well with my just general 2022 playlist.
Yeah, yep,
Um,
definitely. It's a
and
San Remo quality song, you guys. Like this, like Italy definitely is proud of this song, and I'm
yeah,
glad.
they did not come to play.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
They did
Watch
not
out.
come to play it out. And like I and like even the way they style Chanel is very 70s. Like she's got kind of the
Uh-huh.
Thera going on. Yeah, like well, the hair was that way, and just not the clothing, not necessarily,
The
but
makeup
like
definitely. Like the makeup
yeah,
definitely gave me 70s.
like I would love to see. I know we're talking about like kind of going into what you want to see on stage, but I want to
Mhm.
see this one with the 70s styling of clothing too.
Mhm. That
Like kind of
would be
give
so
me
well.
age appropriate Barbarella. Now,
That's easy. I
yeah,
think that
like
would be easy.
you know what I mean? Like, because I mean,
Yeah.
Barbarella, like we're not putting the child in that outfit.
Mhm.
No, never. But
But there's a
like
lot
that's
of
a
tasteful
movie.
there too. There's a
Yeah, there's a
lot of
movie.
nice tasteful.
It's a movie from the 70s, right?
Mhm.
It's a sci-fi movie, kind of going with the sci-fi theme with the helmet in the video. Give me age appropriate that because the styling's already there, face, makeup, and hair wise. I want to see the clothing go 70s too.
Mhm. And honestly, I feel like that would be able to I mean, like, so there's a lot of like space going on with this Junior Eurovision. Like being able to flesh that out with like the costume character is going to be able to differentiate that, like on top of the high note. So I
Yeah.
feel like, yeah, if they were thinking in more that direction, they could set themselves apart from the other songs that are more spacey as well.
Yeah. Well, space is really cool. And
Space is so cool.
we're talking about spacey songs. So
Hmm.
let's talk about Malta's revamp.
You start. You start.
Because Diamonds in the Sky was fixed. And Diamonds in the Sky are spacey. Um,
Hmm. Hmm.
I did not know this was gonna be happening. Like, as far as this revamp goes, the instrumentation sounds so much better. And there's a maturity to what they've done with the song, like production wise, and with
Hmm.
this, like the instrumentation and everything. That like the issues I had with it lyrically are no longer there. Like it's still. I mean, the
Ah.
lyrics are still childish, but it's no longer distractingly so.
Mm. Okay. That's actually a very reasonable insight because I do understand. When I was watching the music video with like a couple of my friends over here, one thing that they did point out was like, "Whoa, like these lyrics, they do seem quite simple." But you know what? It was because they were saving it for the production. They were saving it for how it would
Mhm.
fit in the overall package of the song.
Yeah.
She did not sound like this on stage. I want to note that. She did not sound like the studio version on stage. Like the voice that she's using in the studio cut, I hope is the one that she's going to use for the actual stage version in Yerevan because it fits the theme of the song more. It's
Mhm.
nice, retro-y, ethereal, stellar dance jam, rocket launch hook. Like that,
Yeah.
it's very formulaically ready to go, but she just needs to like keep the vocals kind of like up here where it makes more sense for the production, and not because it's not necessarily a belty song. She was belting
Yeah.
more in the national selection. Yeah, it's very different, but she can do it, and I still love this song, you guys. Like, I think it's so good still.
Yeah. It's very much, it's like, it's giving us that dancey pop that we wanted. It's like elevating what was there to begin with. And
Yeah.
it's like, it really, Malta polished this one up. They really did. So we've got a question here from
Yes.
TJ Arkhill U9. If only we could have such a beautiful quality, not only in junior, but in ESC next year as well. Do you believe that this year's contest has a potential to be top 5 of all time in junior?
I think so. Because
Um,
I know like there are a lot of years where I would say that, but I'm definitely certain this year because I mean, it all comes down to professionalism. All comes down to like the quality of the music itself, and this is a standout year for me.
yeah, I think like I know last year I really liked a lot of the entries in junior, a
Mhm.
lot. So I think with this year we're at a, I'd say the quality wise we're about the same as we were last year with junior, which is like just a very solid contest. I have no idea who's winning at this point because like so many things are so consistently good. Especially once we got these kind of internally worked songs and reworked songs as well. It's kind of giving us more. It's elevating the songs that I was kind of iffy about to a higher place as well. So this could definitely be one of the top 5 of all time. I don't know what's happened recently with junior, like between last year and this year, and I want to even say maybe 2021. I'm gonna say probably last year was 2021, 2022. I'm gonna say like it feels like starting in 2019, juniors entered a new era.
I would agree with that. I
And it's
definitely
an
would agree
era
with
that's
that.
accessible for non-junior fans and non-Eurovision fans, I feel. So I can see this one being up there as well.
Yeah, definitely. We saw like a gear like shift toward more pop, like pop music, like what's gonna get the crowd jumping kind of a sound. And that's not necessarily like a kid's performance song. Like it's also just good music. And that's what a lot of people are like shifting toward to now, which I mean like it's suiting them. It's doing really well.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like I think that like junior is going some great places here now. So then so we were kind of on a spacey theme before we answered the question. So let's talk about Poland because Poland's also kind of spacey, right?
Yes.
Love you to the yeah. Do you want to talk about Poland first?
Yeah, so this is also Dua Lipa-y to me. Like
Yeah.
I definitely get a Dua Lipa vibe from this, definitely future nostalgia. I say that with a little bit of a skew because it also comes across as a Slavic lounge jam. Like if you guys know kind of just like Slavic like club music, it fits the bill. It fits the bill weirdly. And I also feel like the production Kazka could have produced this. Like there's just something about the production that like harkens me over to their direction. Stage version did not really bring us this in the national final. This is nothing like the national final version. I love it. I love it now. It's so good.
It's like a cool mid-tempos kind of like it made me think of the 90s too because like we kind of talk about what eras we think about with stuff. It's giving me late 90s though. It's giving me the late 90s kind of like the dance kind of songs you would get, but like Where Are You Now are like Imani from 2096 or was that the year?
That was 98.
Oh my gosh. Thank you. 98 kind of like her-esque style of music with like kind of an R&B kind of vocal to it too at the same time.
Yeah.
It's like dancey, it's like vibey, it's really cool. And they really again, it's one that they really polished up and they've been able to hand us something that I went from being kind of like on to something like, oh, I like this.
Yeah.
So bringing that elevation with that production, it's just it's great what you can do with some time.
If one thing about Poland, they always invest in the revamp. Like the revamp is always something they take so seriously, which hey, it does them well. They got second place last year.
As they should. That's another like Eurovision country that I'm like, Junior, you guys get it so right.
Why?
Like it's so good at Junior. So yeah, I don't know, but at the same time, hey, I'm here for it. Bring us something. Bring us this, please. Yeah. Like.
And up last, we have Albania. Did you have anything else you needed to say about our girl Laura?
No, we can go ahead and talk about Albania.
Yeah, so to wrap up the stream this week, you guys, we're talking about Albania. They recently came out with their revamp. Do you want to talk about what you thought about the new version of this song?
The mix is definitely an improvement. Like it's like I can actually kind of follow what's happening. I'm gonna say it's probably because it was staged at like a national final, and kind of Albanian national finals tend to be a little weird with the mix, anyways. But we don't really have a piano ballad. We got one now. She's bringing us kind of like a soft piano ballad. I think it's gonna actually make it stand out in the contest, and it really suits her voice going for that piano-y ballad sound.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not really Junior without like that one kind of like softer, melodic, more folky piano ballad. Albania brought it this year, and it's a lot fairer. And I do want to stress how much it comes across like a folk song. Like,
Yeah.
there's something about the hook that just kind of strikes me as like this melody is very familiar, and it almost is reminiscent of a day that I didn't experience. But Albania brings that this year, and I'm glad that they do.
It makes you nostalgic for a time you don't remember.
Exactly,
Like it
yeah.
just like it has this like, and there's like a hopefulness to everything. Again, this one also makes me kind of think of Christmassy.
Yeah,
It
it is
sounds
a little
nothing like
Christmassy.
Christmas music, but there's just something about it that has that kind of vibe to it. I'm like, I'm feeling it. Yeah.
Yeah, like Rihanna's last song is definitely Christmassy as well. We're not talking about that. I don't know why that came to me, but
Like the song she dropped for the Black Panther movie.
yeah, Lift Me Up.
Oh,
Like
I have
the Chadwick
Okay.
dedication.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a Christmas song.
Okay.
I digress. Sorry, like I should not have even brought that into the conversation, but Christmas music is popping off at Junior Eurovision, you guys. I mean, like we also got the Christmas version of J'imagine last year too, and that was fire.
That was cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that's kind of what happened this week at the world of Eurovision. Thank you all so much for joining us. Next week we'll be back. We might start talking about what's happening in San Marino next week. We'll see kind of like how I'm feeling.
Next week is going to be a deep dive on the junior entries, though. We're selecting them into groups and then talking about them individually.
Yeah, like if you watched how we did Adult Eurovision, kind of when we got towards the end of the season, we're kind of breaking down like each song more in depth. We're gonna be starting that off next week with the junior songs, and we'll also
How
be
is that so
talking about
soon already? Oh, that's
I
so
know
soon.
junior's like what? Junior's like a month away at this point.
It literally is a month away. It is exactly a month away, actually.
Yeah. Well, thank you all so much again for joining us. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and like and subscribe. We stream every Friday at the same time. And, check out the, Eurovision Fam on every social media site, Twitter,
Our YouTube channel too, the website, like
go to the
it's all good
website.
stuff.
There's also links in the description box for everything we cover. We do have sources and stuff down below that you can go ahead and check out if you want to read more. And don't forget Alda's article as well. So thank you all so much for joining us this week, and we'll be back next week.
See you guys next time. Bye.
Yeah. I'm still